folks. Pops and I are here, day 4 of our trip here in the Porkies. You know, our fishing trip kind of has been disguised as a backcountry camping and hiking trip, and we didn't really get to do as much fishing as we would have liked, so we've got segments from day 1, 2, and 3, and we're gonna put them all together here and kind of show you guys some of the fishing available here in the Porkies. Kind of starting it off with day 1, we were hiking along the Little Carp Trail, and we were hiking way up in the headwaters where it damn near comes out of Mirror Lake. The first day's hike was kind of a grind. It was wet and we had a lot of rain, and by the time we made it to our first campsite, we were both just whoop tired. I mean, it was silly, but somehow we managed motivation to put our rods together, get our boots on, and go do some fishing. Now, I didn't catch anything, but
I barely did.
Yeah.
2 little brookies, just tiny things, but they were really pretty and obviously native.
Yeah, we'll put some of that footage in right now.
Is that a fish? Oh my goodness.
He's so little, I don't want to hurt him.
I know. Wow, that is amazing. That is such a beautiful little fish. Oh, and just like that, he's gone. Oh, that's another one.
Oh, this is a monster.
A little bit better than that last one. Oh, damn, spunky. Well, I got that set up right as he got into that last fish, but what we're fishing right now is the very top of the watershed for this creek, that being the Little Carp. So, fish are not gonna be massive, but a brookie's a brook, and that is so cool that we're finally finding some fish.
And then the most important footage that he'll put in right now is the double chub.
That's a fish. Oh, is that a double chub? That is what you're looking for when you come to the Upper Peninsula, is a double chub.
Double chub.
That is unheard of. Only in folklore have I heard of a double chub. Gee, Manetly, man, how did you manage that?
I don't know.
God damn. 1 chub to the drink, 2 chub to the drink. I don't really have to ask you what you got them on because it's one of the other flies. That's funny.
It doesn't happen very often in nature, folks. So appreciate it.
Rare phenomenon. But you know, after day 1, we weren't discouraged, but you know, we were kind of wondering, oh man, where all the brook trout at? And so we made it back to camp and then ended up sleeping 12 hours because we were so damn tired. So that brings us to day 2. We kind of got out on the trail a little bit late, but really as we kept going downstream, the watershed really started to change. It went from this kind of a trickling brook to a really strong plunge pool river. We were kind of in a time crunch as far as hiking and getting to our campsite, so we only stopped once to do just a little bit of fishing when we saw some nice water, and I managed to have 1 bite, you had a couple bites, but other than that, we were both kind of confused because the water looked great, everything seemed to be adding up, but it just didn't happen. So, felt no big deal.
No.
We'll pack everything up, get back down on the trail, set up camp, and you know, do that whole dance again, and we barely made it to our campsite overlooking Lake Superior, collapsed, and I don't even know how we managed the motivation to put our rods together, and so we ended up fishing from the mouth of Lake Superior where the Little Carp dumps in, like 1.5 to 2 miles up. I think the only thing we managed to catch was a steelhead smolt, which I'll put in some footage right now.
Yes!
Look at that beautiful trout, holy cow. That is amazing, holy cow. There we go. That is such a beautiful little freaking bow. That's so cool. So even though that wasn't a native brookie, it was still kind of cool to catch a steelhead smolt. And the reason we are pretty confident that it's a steelhead smolt is that there is no sane person in this right world that is stocking a river like that. And so a lot of these tributaries along like the Great Lakes systems, they'll see anadromous fish. Your salmon, your steelhead, even some coastal brook trout if they're there, and sea-run browns, they'll all come up into those rivers and spawn. And I think that's, you know, a pretty good example of a natural reproducing steelhead smolt.
It was nice.
Yeah.
One of the issues, actually we had 3 issues. One is that there was so much water, but you know, when you're hiking for 9 hours in a day to get to your next campsite, you're not stopping at every nice pool or every nice run.
We would have never gotten to camp.
So we passed up a lot of good water and probably fished the easy, accessible, beautiful, oh my goodness, there's fish in that hole, like everybody else does. Where we did fish, I think there were two issues. One, it was really granite, slate, plunge pools. There was really no sand, no rock bottoms, which means there weren't really any bug life. I think there was a lot of void in the food.
Yeah.
So I don't think it supported a lot of fish. And then secondly, it was really warm.
As far as trout streams go, it was like bath water. It was seriously so, like, it was almost refreshing to the point of like, bath water. Again, we were frustrated kind of coming off the trail. That's 2 days of fishing, what, total of like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours of fishing, and
maybe.
Yeah, didn't have much to show for it, so we, again, tails between our legs, went back to camp, got some good rest, and that leads us to day 3. We got on the trail, hiked on Superior for a little while, and then we shot up the Big Carp River. Now the Big Carp was night and day different than the Little Carp. You know, as far as trout streams go, it had the temperature. It was cold water. When we were wading in it, my feet got freaking cold. So that was really nice. And you know, as we were moving up the watershed, we got to see it change, and really, I mean, again, just crying at all these nice pools and runs that we just had to walk by because couldn't waste that much time. But we changed it up just a tad. Instead of waiting to the very end of our days to do some fishing, we decided in the middle, let's find a point and do some fishing there. And I actually managed to get on my first UP brook trout, which we'll put some footage in now. Oh yes, let's go! I don't think you guys have any idea how long we've been hiking to get this freaking fish. Holy cow. That is a UP brookie, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, that is so nice. It seriously, again, I can't overstate enough how good this feels. We have been working our absolute asses off to find these fish. Give you one last brookie looky. He is just so stinking beautiful. That is so amazing. That makes the trip so freaking worth it. Let's see if I can do a cheeky one here. Ooh. Wow, just like that, he is gone. Oh my gosh. I'm literally speechless. But to say that is my crown jewel of the trip would be an understatement, because that was so stinking awesome. And that was really the only one that we found. You know, we saw, you saw a couple of fish,
but we didn't scare many.
No, it was so strange how, again, only seeing a small part of a river gives you a really weird look of the watershed, because we're thinking that these 2 watersheds are just devoid of life when we could just be fishing the wrong section. So, and
even where we fish, there's only a few access points along the path that you can even be on the river.
Yeah.
And where we went up about a mile, maybe a mile and a half of the Big Carp, and then we had to bushwhack back to the trail. So, you know, I think we were fishing areas that maybe don't get fished all that often, but there still wasn't a lot of access.
After 3 days of not too much success, we have put our minds together and come up with a solution if you're looking to fish a watershed or watersheds like these ones that we just saw. I think the key is to find one base camp. You know, there is no end of backcountry campsites and backcountry cabins all along these watersheds that would be absolutely perfect for one base camp, where you get everything settled for one night, and then you have the rest of the time to go explore. So you're not constantly packing up, constantly moving, constantly just having to worry about getting to the next site. You got a day to recover, you got a day to go do and see and explore the watersheds a bit more than what we did.
Yeah. Because by the time you hike 9 hours and you put up for an hour, take down for an hour, that's 11 of your 14, 15 hour days.
There's not much time left in a day. And then on top of it, you're exhausted.
You're exhausted. Yeah.
So that is our solution.
Find a base.
Find a base camp. But overall, the Porkies were beautiful. I would definitely recommend coming here, trying to chase the wily brook trout that hide in the waters, and little brown water action was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was interesting to explore, and whenever you're coming to the Porkies, make sure to make one base camp, keep your feet in the water, and until next time, tight lines.